What up? It's John Summit, and today I'm going to teach you how to make tech house like the professionals in under 4 minutes.
Fuck that feeling.
So the main elements in tech house are the kick, bass, hats, claps, percussion, synth and effects, and vocals. Well, vocals may be optional, but who doesn't love a good vocal? For the kick, we typically want a fat 909 with a short tail that leaves space for the bass. That'll do. Next is the bass, which I made in Ableton's operator. For this track, I used a saw wave for the added harmonics. I raised the envelope to 50% so we could hear each note hit, but I lowered the frequency on the filter to 100 Hz, so instead of sounding like this, it sounds more like this. For the bass MIDI, I usually write the notes on a 16th note grid. There really are no rules to writing bass lines, but in general, you want your phrase to be 1 to 4 bars long. I chose to write this track in E minor, and the two notes I used were E and F sharp. I also added pitch bend on a few of the notes to give additional movement to the bass line. For the bass processing, I added a drum bus for additional distortion and compression, a compressor to sidechain the bass to the kick, an EQ to take out some resonance, and one more filter to take away any unwanted highs and mids. The bass now sounds like this. And once you add the kick, we got ourselves a party. For the hats, I like to use multiple layers that cover the stereo spectrum. This is a good graphic that shows what element should generally be in the center of the mix and what element should be wider in the mix. For this track, I have a left hat, a right hat, a center hat, a wide shaker, a syncopated hat for added swing, and an extra hat for variation. Altogether, it sounds like this. Claps are like the hats where I have a center layer, a wide layer, and a texture layer. Together, it sounds like this. Claps are more mid-range focused though, so the center clap is more dominant, and I didn't go as wide as I did with the hats. But also remember that there really are no rules to making music.
There's no rules! Let's just start back on.
For the percussion, I highly recommend using a variety of sounds as it makes the beat more interesting and dynamic. Sometimes my percussion is really full. But because this track is more stripped down, we're just filling in the gaps with syncopated hits and extra sounds. Oh yeah. For synths and effects, I like to use sounds that keep the track interesting while also not taking it away from the groove. Here we have an uplifter every 4 bars, a noise hit every 4 bars, and an acid break 4 bars in for added flavor. You can add whatever synths and effects you want, but a common mistake is adding too much effects as it takes away from the groove, and we all know the groove is king. I also added a vinyl texture layer for added ambiance. Lastly, we have the vocals. A great vocal has a call and response that can either be used at once or spread out over 4 to 8 bars. Here we have this.
Fuck that feeling.
And this.
I wanna get you.
I used the first phrase pre-drop and the second phrase 8 bars in, and I also chopped up the first phrase to use 4 bars in. Okay, so now that we got all the elements together, let's check out the final product.
Fuck that feeling.
So that's how you make tech house like the professionals. Of course, I did not have time to cover everything, but this should be enough to get you started. Also, I have a link to the project file in the YouTube description in case you want to get the samples or see how I did the processing. So yeah, let me know if that was helpful, and thanks for watching. Also, like and subscribe or whatever.